Hi friends, Evolving Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for following along with our collection journey. So as you can see, we are going to open a Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer box today. This box comes courtesy of one of my local game stores. I really have not, I've said, it's now we're into March as of the time when this recording will go up, and I have only seen Prismatic Evolutions on store shelves one time. I mentioned before, it was a Barnes & Noble. They had the poster collections, had been just restocked. They were limiting it to a purchase limit of one, so I was able to grab one, and I think I just timed it right. And then otherwise, I've never seen these on store shelves. I guess the one exception, if you want to count it, was the day that the 2-pack blisters released. My local game store had a box of them, and I was able to pick up one that I had not pre-ordered. I did some pre-orders as well, but they had some non-pre-ordered versions. And so anyway, but this ETB comes from a local game store, and I guess maybe this is also an exception. They have had, it seems like, a pretty good allocation of these ETBs, and the reason that they've kept them on the store shelves is that they're charging more than MSRP, actually a lot more than MSRP, and so I have mixed feelings about that. I'm sort of sympathetic on one hand to the fact that local game stores have some responsibility to the hobby and the community to not gouge their customers. On the other hand, I think that they're actually being charged more from distribution. I've gotten that sense talking to my local game stores that they're actually paying, in a sense, more than MSRP. That MSRP itself is a bit of a, not necessarily a fiction, but it means a little bit less. So, or at least the one game store was saying that they might say you can buy this much at this low price, but then, we're also going to charge you more for this next allocation or this next batch. And apparently, according to my one source, that's how sports cards already works. So we do get this in here, which we'll just keep sealed for now because we have the one we need for the promo. We have all the stuff that you get in the ETB. So anyway, I don't know, for local game stores, like they're paying maybe more for these things. Allocation has been rough. And then also, I don't know, I suppose you could charge MSRP and limit it in some way such that it does get to people. But, I think if you also, on the flip side, if you charge market price rather than MSRP, then people aren't going to flip it or scalp it because they're already paying kind of what the market is saying it's worth. And so at least yes, a customer has to pay more than MSRP for the product, but it's likely that that customer who is willing to pay market price is going to go home and either open it or keep it sealed in their personal collection, but they're not going to turn around and flip it. Or if they try to, then they're going to be like charging more than market and maybe have a harder time, or their margins are going to be much thinner on the profit. So I don't know. I can see both cases. So there's 9 packs of Prismatic. I mean, for me, part of me, I'm willing to pay a little bit more for Prismatic just to have some. And I thought about keeping this sealed, but again, I think I'm just going to trust. I'm going to continue to trust what Pokemon Company has said, is that they know that they need to print more of this. This set just released last month, or I guess maybe a month and a half ago now. And so I'm just going to trust that they are going to print more, and over the long run, which is years, I mean, they still are releasing like Scarlet and Violet 151 products, for example. So, I think this is a set that we know is going to be desirable. They know is desirable. And so I'm hoping that they're just going to continue to print it, and we're going to, we might have to pay a little bit more now. I mean, I've been fortunate because what I have, besides this product that we're opening right now, all the other Prismatic that I've opened has been at market price, or excuse me, has been at MSRP thanks to pre-orders. But just now we're at the point where nothing there and nothing there. I mean, we're kind of through that first wave of releases, and so, and they're going to be restocked. I mean, I've seen evidence at my local, at like Target and Walmart, occasionally you'll see like there's an empty mini tin display. But, that's the problem, is they're not limiting it, to my knowledge. Like none of those big box stores in my area are limiting purchases. And so, unless you're the first one there, someone is probably going to buy it out, and you just like are never going to get it on a store shelf. And so, my local game store, at least, they're kind of either they're limiting it and or they are Sylveon. All right. They're limiting it, so that stretches it out a little bit more. but there's still high demand for it, or they're charging closer to market price or market price, and that's, you know, again, changes the calculation for people who are wanting to buy it. It does put it out of reach for some collectors, but at least it means that scalpers aren't going to buy it because they're not going to make any money on it by flipping it, unless they're still buying it and holding it. But if they're, you know, if they're had to pay market price for it off the store shelf, then they're not going to. So for me, I don't know. It's tricky. Like, what I paid for this is a little much, but part of me also thinks that, like, I mean, for the purposes of the channel, like, if it weren't for the channel, I might not buy certain products. Some things I do want to buy to open on the channel. But there is some incentive to open this. I mean, again, well, we've struck out in our first 3 packs, but there's a ton of great cards in this. There's a ton of cards with value in this. And of course, we're building a master set. So I have started buying singles, although singles have been hard to come by. I check my local game store pretty often to see if anyone has brought in any prismatic singles, and I'm not necessarily looking for the SIRs right now. Those are probably like, I have not seen, I think, a prismatic SIR in my local game store for resale. Like, people just probably are holding on to it or grading it if they do happen to pull one. But I'm just talking like the low level, like the double rares that I'm still missing. I'm talking the Pokeball reverses, not necessarily the Master Ball reverses, although those occasionally have been in my local game store, some of the lower value ones, and even some of the higher value ones, but those like cost more. Looks like maybe we have something hiding in there. Oh, just a mill tank. I think we have mill tank, so not so exciting. Oh, an Airy. Do we need this one? No, I forget. Well, we did get an ultra rare, so that's good. At least we got something. I think Airy is, I mean, of the ultra rares in the set, Airy is a little bit more coveted or valuable. I mean, not much, like $4 or $5 versus like $1 or $2 for many of the ultra rares. I have purchased several of the ultra rares from my local game store, so I think I have an Airy, and I'm missing there's 2 other. I think I'm missing the Atticus, and I forget there's one other one. So, I mean, my goal, I'm not even thinking about the SIRs at this point. I'm opening packs and hoping to pull an SIR. We have not pulled an SIR yet. I'm just trying to fill out the rest of the set, so I'm trying to get all the other. I mean, we have all the commons, uncommons, regular rares. There's a handful of double rares we're still seeking. There's, I think, again, 2 ultra rares we're still looking for. And then I'm finding that it's kind of been fun to work on the Pokeball Reverse Holo Master set. Again, they're not as hard to pull by any means as the Master Ball reverses, and so most of them, I mean, in my local game store, they're selling a lot of these Pokeball reverses just for basically $1 each, which I'm happy to pay, $1 each. And there's 100 in the set. There's Prime Catcher. That's at least one of the more coveted. Coveted is not the right word. That's one of the more desirable A-Specs. Just a mill tank and a Whimsicott. So, but yeah, you can see, like, we really are. I mean, these are lottery tickets. You lose in the lottery almost all of the time. That's why the lottery is a lottery. But, for the purposes of the channel and for the purposes of my collection, I mean, you can see here we don't expect to pull anywhere near the value we paid for this box. But you just, you hope that one of these times you're going to pull that crazy card to kind of make it worth it. We did have luck last time. We pulled the Pikachu gold card, which is worth about $100. So we actually, last time, I think that was from the 2-pack blisters. We had 4 2-pack blisters. We pulled $100 cards. So, that definitely more than paid for those. So that happens sometimes, but you can't count on that. I think with this ETB, we're just kind of hoping to have a few pulls. Ideally, we'd pull something that we need for the master set. Of course, you'd love to pull one of those awesome cards. There's a Vaporeon regular reverse. There's an Executor and just an Espeon. So we have 3 packs left. Again, we've got a couple hits, nothing crazy. I would have expected more reverse, maybe 1 or 2 more. I would expect to get out of 9 packs. I think that the regular Pokeball reverses, you'd 1 in 3 packs. So I would have hoped for 3. And then you kind of hope you would expect, maybe like 1 ultra rare or 2 ultra rares out of this. Probably 1. And then you're just kind of hoping that you get lucky and pull one of those higher rarity cards. So anyway, I want to keep opening this set. I mean, it is a set that's cool, and there's a lot of great cards in it. No, there's a Cottony. I feel like we have 3 of these. Again, I wonder about batching. I mean, I feel like it could be batching geographically, like maybe our area gets a certain thing, but also I'm just wondering about in time, right? That maybe, I would believe that all Pokeball reverses are available theoretically Oh, there's something hiding. Noctowl and just the regular Umbreon, so nothing too exciting. Well, we did get our second Pokeball reverse, but yeah, I've pulled like 3 Cottony. I feel like that's the 3rd one we've pulled, so I don't know, like, do they, like, in time, maybe like the first month or 2, they're kind of printing extras of a certain one of these Pokeball reverses, and then maybe in wave 2 or wave 3, they're kind of bringing in some of the other ones. I don't know. It just seems like, what are the odds that we're going to pull 3 of these before we pull 1 of some of the other ones? So we're down to 2 more packs. Again, we kind of keep our fingers crossed. You'd love to pull something good. We, again, we pulled 2 hyper rares, so as far as like that seems lucky. Like, we would not have expected 2 hyper rares. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing we've opened between 50 or 60 packs of this set, probably, if you added everything up. So, you know, I feel lucky because I know some people haven't had any access to this set at all. But on the other hand, yeah, and pulling 2 hyper rares out of that is pretty lucky. All right, last pack, best pack, I don't know. But you can see here, if this is all we pull, you know, pretty disappointing. But again, we can't count on, I mean, this is expected, I suppose. Disappointing, but expected. So anyway, we're going to keep looking. I mean, I've probably hustled for Prismatic a little less. I still try to stop into stores because there's that hope that maybe you've timed it perfectly. I'm not quite to the level of like knowing when I'm not like following, restockers around or knowing when things get restocked. I think there are people who go to that degree, and, I don't know. That seems a little bit unseemly to me, I suppose, especially if you're just like kind of waiting for the restocker to buy everything. Well, there's a Litleo, and I don't think we have that one. So there's our 3, that's kind of what you'd expect, 1 in every 3 packs. Nothing there. And just a Monkey Dory. Well, we did get a couple of those. Yeah. So we got the 3 reverse holo the 3 Pokeball reverses, but otherwise, pretty lackluster opening. So this one didn't feel worth it, but you never know. So thanks for following along. We'll continue to hope for some Prismatic. I have some pre-orders for booster bundles, so I know I'm going to get my hands on at least a couple of those in a few weeks, or I guess in almost just a week. They're going to release in March 7th, and then after that, I think we really are going to be, it's going to be a dry spell for Prismatic unless you're lucky. But they have said they're going to print more, so let's hope that that's true. So this is the results of our ETB. A little underwhelming, but anyway, good luck out there. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll catch you in the next video.